The four natural aids are your hands, your seat, your legs, and your voice. Did you know that? Did you know those are the natural aids for horses? Did you know that? Did you know those are the natural aids that you have at all times, for the most part, to help you become a better rider with your horse? And do you know how to use these natural aids? Well, that's what today's video is all about, and we're getting started right now. Hello, my equestrian friends. It's me, Lisa, the Budget Equestrian. Welcome back to today's video. And like I said in the beginning, today I'm going to share with you all about the natural aids. Do you know what the natural aids are? Do you know what the artificial aids are? Well, the natural aids that most riders possess are your hands, your seat, your legs, and your voice. These four tools most of us have. I would say 99% of riders do have these tools. And one thing to keep in mind is when you're using natural aids, when you're riding your horse, you need to make those aids clear, concise, and you need to have a standardized way of delivering the aids to your horse. So how about we dive a little bit deeper into each of the natural aids, and maybe you'll have a better understanding of how you can apply them when you're riding your horse. So the secret to equitation lies in the use of the natural aids. This is your seat, your hands, your legs, and even your voice. By knowing how to apply these aids in a clear, concise, and standardized manner, the rider will be able to communicate with the horse. Pretty neat, huh? Of the natural aids, I feel the seat is probably the most important. The seat, or your weight, is used to refer to the distribution of the rider's weight on your seat bones. And your seat has a tremendous influence on your horse's balance. Leaning forward causes the horse to increase speed. Leaning backward causes the horse to slow down. And increasing your weight on one seat bone and the stirrup iron on one side causes the horse to bear in that direction. Does that make sense? A good seat is a quality that riders need to develop. It helps your balance in all circumstances, regardless of how your horse reacts. It requires suppleness and relaxation of your lower back, which will act like a shock absorber. Secondary to the seat are your hands. The hands act, resist, and yield through the reins to regulate the horse's forward motion. Your hands also act to slow the downward speed changes in the gaits, as well as modify the horse's balance and give direction. It's really important to remember that the hands always act without pulling. And this can be achieved by squeezing the fingers on the reins, turning the wrist with your fingers up, like turning a doorknob, to increase the tension, or by raising the wrists. These actions are progressive steps to obtain obedience from your horse, and their resistance should be equal to the horse but never greater. And I think it's also really important to remember that your hands yield to reward obedience. So this means as soon as your horse has obeyed, without losing contact with the horse's mouth through the reins. So it's a give and take. Your legs are extremely useful and really necessary to educate your horse. The legs act, resist, and yield to produce and maintain the horse's forward motion. Your legs help to change the gait upward and increase the speed, as well as being used to position your horse's hind quarters and engage his hind end. This causes him to bring his hind legs up underneath his body and use it more effectively. Remember, the power of propelling forward comes from the hind end. This is to create impulsion. The legs act together at the girth, which is about 4 to 6 inches behind the girth actually, to drive the horse forward. And this can be achieved by squeezing and releasing the calves continuously, or by squeezing and releasing your heels, and also by kicking with your heels. And when I say kicking, I don't mean hauling off and kicking your horse, but you give a little tap to let them know, yes, you want them to move forward. Your legs can also work individually behind the girth. This is about 8 to 10 inches behind the girth, and this will make the horse move his hindquarters. This is also referred to as leg yielding. By learning how to use your legs effectively on your horse, these are the progressive steps to obtaining obedience. The legs resist to prevent or oppose a lateral displacement of the horse's haunches, and then the leg also yields to reward your horse's obedience by stopping to act or resist and by lightening the pressure. Now this happens really quickly and it will become automatic with repetition and practice. As soon as the horse yields, you remove the pressure of the leg. It's the pressure and release concept that we've all heard so much about. Now your legs should always stay in light contact with the horse's barrel, so that way they're ready to act without startling the horse with any sudden movement. And the final aid, and some people may not feel that it's an aid, but I do, because I use my voice with my horses a lot, because your voice and your tone of voice can create confidence and respect. Now, I don't know if our horses really comprehend our words, and now I'm going to get people telling me, of course they comprehend. But like I said, I don't know if they do. But I do know that by using your voice in different manners or tone, it does affect your horse. A quiet voice can be calming to the horse, and a loud voice can be upsetting. And our words act as a reminder of what we are asking. So it's important not to confuse your horse, and you want to be consistent with the words that you use. Your voice reinforces the other aids. For example, you ask for forward movement with a squeeze of your legs. If he doesn't respond, you add more firm squeezes of the legs and add a cluck with your voice. Your horse will recognize this increase in pressure, and when he does what you ask, you reward him with the release of the pressure. Just keep in mind when you're using your natural aids that you have, you want to make sure to give the release to your horse. That's how he's going to learn and understand that when he does what you ask of him, then he's rewarded by a release of the pressure. Okay, so the 4 natural aids are your seat, your hands, your legs, and your voice. And the best part about your natural aids, they're all free. You don't have to buy anything. The one thing to remember and keep in mind is that when you are applying any aid to your horse, the aids need to be clear, concise, and standardized. And what do I mean by standardized? I mean, you have to have a moment in time when you always use that aid. So for example, if you want your horse to go forward, then you have to squeeze with your legs. If he doesn't respond and move forward with the squeeze of your legs, then you might have to give a little kick with your legs. If that doesn't work, you can always add in a cluck. So we've just used 2 different aids, possibly 3 if you consider using your seat. So we used our seat. Actually, we used 4 aids. We used our seat, we used our hands, we used our voice, and we used our legs. Pretty cool, huh? So now there are times when you will have to use artificial aids, and artificial aids would be like spurs or a whip. But we don't want to rely on using the artificial aids if we don't have to. We want to refine our natural aids and use those as much as we can. Just as an example, when I got Pleasant, he would not move. He literally would just plant his feet and just stand there. And he's like, okay, I'm totally happy standing here all day long. But with consistency, I've been able to get him to move. Granted, we're not moving off at a fast clip, but he is moving. And I'm not really relying on any aids other than my natural aids, with an occasional of adding in a dressage whip. And for me, it's like he knows that the whip is there. I really don't have to use it on him, but if I really want to get my point across, I will use a dressage whip, so an artificial aid. And as equestrians, we're always trying to be the best rider that we can be, right? And I learned about this, more about the natural aids, from taking a class on Udemy. The course was presented by Jane Frizzell, and I've talked about her in the past before, But she has some different courses on Udemy, and that's where I learned more about the natural aids and kind of breaking them down into little step-by-step and easy to learn pieces. And right now, Udemy is having a pretty incredible Black Friday special. And even though it is a Black Friday special, it's going on now through November 27th, which I believe is Black Friday. Because if you want to learn, and I mean really learn how to be a better rider, you have to educate yourself. If you don't have a riding instructor like I don't, classes like these are a really valuable tool to becoming a better rider. I really enjoy them and they're really helping me a lot, which is why I wanted to share it with you today. And if you look down below, down in the description box below, I've actually left a link to Udemy so you can look up courses that Jane has created or lots of other different topics too. There's hundreds of different courses that you can take on Udemy. And I was really happy to see that they actually have some courses related to equestrian. So go check out Udemy, check out all of the great courses they have, and right now you get a really, really good deal. And before you know it, you will become a better rider and improve your horsemanship skills. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you can watch all my other DIY projects, product reviews, and horse-related videos showing you how to make the most of the time that you have with your horse. Again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.